So I'm starting with the large piece of folded cardstock. I'm just going to be gluing the fabric down with a glue stick. This is a nice glue stick I found recently on Amazon. I have it in my Amazon store, and it covers a lot more area quickly because it's a bigger stick. So check that out if you're interested. It's especially good if you're gluing big pages together, like in a composition book or something like that. Now you'll see each time I glue something down, I take my brayer and just roll it and press it down real good, and that just makes sure that the glue is sticking to the fabric and that all the air bubbles are pushed out. So that's why I do that. Then the next part is cutting the corners off all the way around, just cutting the corners, and then just using a little bit of glue. I switched at this point to a smaller glue stick because I was gluing a smaller area, but it's really not necessary. But just put down the glue and fold over and, you know, kind of push it so that it covers over the edge really well. So now I'm gluing the longer side, and you're going to see me cut a funny little cut right where the crease is of the book. And it's just angling that piece just like I did on the corners, and then I added an extra little snip right in the middle so that I could separate those two pieces, just so that there's not so much bulky fabric right in the crease. And I think that helps a lot with, you know, making the book work. I think that I'll hold it up closer here and show you. So it's just a snip in the middle and then an angle on each side, but don't cut that piece off. You want it still to fold up over the edge of the cardstock. Okay, so I just fold it up and then kind of separate those two pieces just a little bit so that they're away from the crease in the cardstock. And then I go ahead and fold up the rest of it. And some of that will cover up those pieces too. That's perfectly fine. I don't mind the bulk on the, you know, on the cover itself. I just don't want the bulk in the crease. Yeah, be careful to check your corners and make sure that those are all glued down nice and tight. And then you've got this little piece that covers the spine. So what I'm doing is folding it down about 1/4 of an inch on each end. So, and then gluing that just to give a nice clean edge. And I believe it's a little bit long. Yeah, it's a little bit long, so I snipped off a little bit of it. You'll see I cut off about 1/4 of an inch. And then I use the book as my guide for where to fold this piece. And I just kind of fold it against the edge of the book and then kind of finger press it down and then glue that bit down so that it's just the right length to fit in the spine area. Okay, and then next I'm going to fold it in half lengthwise, and you want to fold it with the bottom of the strip. It's hard. Did you see what I did there? You want to fold it so that it's going to go into the crease in this book. You'll see what I mean in a minute. You'll understand what I did. I'm trying to keep it right in the center on the crease. So if it doesn't work out, like mine didn't quite get straight, just peel it up while the glue's still wet and then place it again. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but you do want it to cover up that 1/2 inch or so on either side of the crease. So yeah, just check all of the edges, make sure that at the top and bottom, make sure they're all glued down snug. Okay, so here we're taking the napkin and we're going to cut that in half and peel the backing off. Be sure you peel off the backing. Now what I did here was I took my napkin and I ironed it onto a piece of freezer paper on the shiny side. And it is so smooth, you guys. I'm going to show you in a minute how smooth it is. I have never glued a napkin down so smoothly in all my life. Now, of course, I didn't glue it, but as far as adhering a napkin to anything, this is the way to go. So I'll show you in just a second. But I took my piece with the freezer paper and I added it to an additional piece of cardstock. That's not in the kit. It's one of those optional things where you can do it if you want to. I just felt like I wanted it to be a little bit more sturdy. So it's up to you, personal preference. If you want to glue it to an additional piece of cardstock, something sturdy you have around the house, that's perfectly fine, but you don't have to. But look at how smooth that is. Wow, I love it. I'm going to be using a lot more freezer paper, let me tell you. So, I mean, because sometimes, you know, wrinkles are perfectly fine and there's no problem at all. And then there's other times when you really want it to be nice and smooth. And I have finally found the way to make it smooth. So I'm really excited about that. Okay, now I have put the glue just on the center of my napkin panel because I'm going to take mine to the sewing machine and stitch it in place. So I just put a little glue in the center to hold it down and keep it in place. And then I'm going to sew it with a zigzag stitch all the way around. Here I'm just showing how the stitching looks going all the way around. And I did the front and the back. And I love how it looks. So these two pieces of cardstock that come in the kit are to cover with the lighter fabric and add to the inside panels of the cover. So I just folded that piece in half and finger pressed it so I'd have a rough estimate of half of it. And I cut it, and now I'm just using a lot of glue. Use a lot, guys, so that it will stick down to that fabric really well. So here I'm just cutting off those corners, angling the corners again, like I did on the cover itself. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing, gluing and going around the piece to get it all in place, pushing it up over the edge. And I'm kind of touching up those corners and really pinching in that little corner bit when I glue down these last two edges. So push that down to make sure that all the fabric goes down, and then I kind of cover it up with the edge of that fabric. Same thing on the other side. Just like that. And you do both panels exactly the same way. And you guys can pause the video. If you're following right along with me, you can pause the video at any point and finish doing what you're doing, because I know this is moving pretty quickly, but it kept the video from being, you know, way too long. I'm using a Fabri-Tac for mine. You can also use tacky glue if that's what you have. I'm not using the glue stick here because it is a little sturdier, and I just felt like I wanted to have it really secure, so I'm using the Fabri-Tac for that reason. But tacky glue will work every bit as well. Then just center that, making sure you have the same amount on all of the edges. And And as you see, I'm pressing it down again with my brayer. I really like that pressure on there to help the glue stick really well. That's it. That's how you make the cover. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and stitch my pages in. Now you don't have to stitch your pages if you don't want to. You can take a piece of elastic cord and just wrap it around the outside of your book and tie it in the center, and you can put all of your pages under the one elastic, and that'll work just fine. This spine is sturdy enough to hold an elastic band, so you can do that if you're not comfortable with sewing, but this 3-hole pamphlet stitch really is simple, and so that's why I like to use it. So I just grabbed the pages that came in the kit and I just stacked them together in the order that looked good for me. You guys can do, you know, yours in whatever order you want to, but this is what I did with mine. And I also took the piece that I had with the flowers on it. The other side didn't have flowers across the top there. It just had whatever was on the other side of that book page. So I did find an image in a magazine, and I just glued it down on top of what was there just because I liked that wild field of flowers. I thought that looked good, and it's got writing and stuff on it, but I'm really not concerned about that because once I start decorating my pages, a lot of that's going to get covered up anyway. So that's what I did. And also I took the yarn that came in the kit, this little piece of yarn. I love this yarn, and I was so excited that I finally found a project I could use this on and share some of it with you guys so you could use it too. But the page actually just looks like this with holes in it. It came out of a spiral bound notebook. So I left the holes there for this very purpose, so that if you wanted to stitch in the holes in and out or do something like this, I just took this and did some crochet on there, and it makes a little, like a little scalloped border. So those of you who know how to crochet and would like to do this, all I did was single crocheted right into the first hole, chain 3, another single crochet, chain 3, another single crochet, and all the way down. So, but it would look really just as cute to just simply take your yarn and go in and out, or you could go over and over and in the hole and over and in the hole and over all the way down. So whatever you want to do is fine, of course, but I just wanted to show you what I did and why that page looks different now, because I did that. So I really love it, and I love how all the colors from the yarn are showing. And let's see, did I get that upside down? I think I did. Let's see. Yeah, let me turn it around this way. Okay. So, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get my pages set up here the way I want them, as far as, you know, where I want them to sit. And just kind of get them in the place that I want them. And then I can just start stitching, and I'll show you what I'm doing, so that if any of you want to do the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, you can do that too. I'm just fixing these because I don't want all of them sitting down at the bottom if I'm a little bit staggered. All right, so this is the center of my book. So I'm going to take my cover and I'm going to put my pages in there and just kind of even it out across the book, you know, so that you've got the same amount showing top and bottom. And this is just a simple, quick way of doing this. I'm not, you know, doing any kind of measuring or anything like that. And it'll, you know, it'll get a little crooked, so you just want to watch it and straighten it up as you go, as you're clipping. Make sure everything is straight the way you want it to be. And just push everything down into that fold. Okay. And then I'm going to clip these on this side. And then I'm going to take a look and make sure everything looks pretty centered and pretty even. I think this could go up a tiny bit. There we go. All right, so we're ready to go, and all I'm doing is using an awl. You can use an awl or a pokey tool or a big needle, whatever you have. And I'm just first going to find this roughly the center, and I'm going to put it in there and kind of close my book and push so that the awl comes out through the spine of the book. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to go, I don't know, about maybe an inch, maybe a little. I'm measuring from the pages here, not the cover. So I would say about an inch from the top edge, and I'm going to fold the book again and push. See, so I'm getting my hole right there in the spine. And then I'm going to do the same thing at the other end, about an inch up, and push it in. Okay, there we go. So I'm twisting it as I go to make it move in there slowly. I don't want it to come flying out at me and hurt me. Okay, now measure your thread, whatever. I'm using a little bit of baker's twine. You can use embroidery floss, crochet thread, whatever you have on hand. Okay, so I usually do about 2.5 the length of the spine. So I let it go over just a bit. So I do 1, 2, and about 1/2. If you're more comfortable doing 3, you can go ahead and do 3. You'll just have excess that you're going to cut off and kind of waste, you know. So it's up to you, however you want to do yours. Oh, I'm going to wrap this around the eye of the needle so it goes in there easily. Pinch it and pull it off, and then press the folded edge into the eye. There we go. All right, so here we go. I'm going in through the center. I'm going to have the strings of my book tied in the middle. If you want the strings of your book tied on the outside, then do your needle into the book from the outside. If you start this way, the strings will end up inside. Okay, didn't make the hole quite big enough. This eye on this needle is pretty big, so I'm kind of having to work it. There we go. All right, and I'm just going to pull the end of this kind of up underneath my paper clip just to kind of hold it there. All right, then I'm going to go to this end. You can go to that end. It doesn't matter. Whichever way you want to do it is the way you should do it, because it really doesn't matter. Whatever you're the most comfortable with. Okay. I'm pushing this against my mat here so that it can help me get it in. There we go. Then you go down to the other hole. And push it through. There we go. All right, and then the last stitch is back into that center hole again. Being careful not to you want to be careful not to put your needle through the thread that's already there. Make sure you go just into the hole, because if you split that thread, it will be very hard to tighten up the strings on your book. Okay, here we go. All right, so I just kind of pull it snug and then tie a double knot, a square knot, which is right over left. And then the left one over the right one. And it won't come in tied if you do a square knot. Okay. I'm not sure if I want to do anything with the ends, so I'm going to go ahead and snip it off there and keep the threads for now. If I decide I'm not going to do anything, like dangle something on the end, then I'll cut them short later. So then I'm just going to slip off the clips, and my book is sewn together. I love how simple and easy that is. All right, so now it's all ready to decorate. How fun. I folded this one in like a little bit of a short way, so this page is a little short, but I can always add something onto this to make it the length of the others or closer to it, and I think that'll be fun. You know, like attach a tag there or something like that. I think it'll be really cool. All right, so my pages are all sewn in, and it's going to be fun to create in this. And I will probably film whatever I do in this book. I will probably film it. So I hope that you guys will follow along and create along with me, especially if you get one of these kits. If not, I hope you make yourself a little journal for springs and florals or nature, whatever you want to use it for. And just create along with me, you know, and we'll play together. I think it'll be awesome.